Back to Truth at the Table. Couples edition. Love is in the air. We're just gonna talk about sex.
That's all that.
A little bit more. How has sex, your viewpoint of sex, and your actual sex life changed after you've had children? Because everyone here is a mom.
Mm-hmm. I'll go first on that.
Sex after. Okay.
So, after having kids, I had to go through 2 C-sections.
Mm-hmm.
And after having kids, I did not feel comfortable like showing all of my body till this day. So, talking to other women out there, if you feel uncomfortable with your body, because our bodies change, if you feel uncomfortable, showing yourself, after C-sections, because your body's changed, it's okay, but that's when you go to your partner and, who you should be able to confide in and who loves you for you, and I'm still not there. I'm still not there because I'm so used to, the hourglass and, it's a mental thing.
Yeah.
It's a mental thing, like, the need is still there, but sometimes because I'm so focused on how I look, I'm not able to let go here, which affects sex
So
sometimes.
what can we do to reassure women in that situation? Like,
Turn off all the lights.
because I literally tell her I love all her blemishes that she's insecure about. I actually
It's
love
hard.
them.
Yeah, because you like, I
You know,
put it there.
and I express that.
So it's mental. It's us. It's
Right.
Yeah, it's
Right.
not you.
And,
Yeah.
Right.
and I think I'm a new mom, and I think so my body's changed recently, and recently I had a miscarriage too, and I had to have like a surgery. So then I
Yes.
had like holes in my stomach
Yeah.
from
Right.
like the
Right.
I forgot the name of the procedure, but
Laparoscopic.
laparoscopic, exactly. So it was like I had stretch marks from a baby, and then like within a year of having a baby, then I have a miscarriage, and that caused me to have another physical scar.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I did not know I felt this way about myself.
Yeah.
And one day I just like we were being intimate, not sex, but just being talking, and I just burst into tears, and I tell him like I'm insecure. I'm like,
Right.
and it's like I'm having a realization, like
Yeah.
watching myself outside of my body, and I'm like come to like Jesus moment, and I'm like I'm really insecure.
Right.
Like I don't like my body, and you tell me I'm beautiful all the time, and I don't believe you.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I said
Right.
my body changed. I look in the mirror, and like I never had like I think I had a good body, but I was never like whoa to me. But like
You
it
were.
was well. I'm like like I just feel like I miss my old body, and I'm like now I have like these stretch marks, and then on top of it these 3 holes that I just got now, and I hate this. Like this sucks, and I'm like, and I don't believe when you tell me I'm pretty, and I'm just like, and I just started crying,
with
and I'm
you.
like
Right.
crying, and I feel like I'm watching myself,
Right.
like, girl, get it together, but I'm like, no, this feels so good, like
I need to let it go.
Right.
Release it. I gotta get it out. I gotta get it
just
out.
like telling him,
Yeah.
and then I think we had sex that same night or whatever,
Yeah.
and I had told myself like believe everything that he
You
tells
tell,
you.
yes,
Like,
yes,
even if you
yes,
don't, like,
yes,
just
yes,
believe
yes, yes,
everything that he
yes.
tells you. Like,
Yes.
because sometimes I tell myself, oh, he's saying this just
Right.
for sex.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah. He just on it. He trying to get burned out. Yeah,
Yeah. He's influencing me all the time because he just wants sex. Like, but I told myself, like, believe everything, that specific moment.
Yeah.
And I believed it, and I remember, like, after we had sex, he's like, yo, like, what did he just do?
Yeah, that was
Right.
that was
Right.
dope. He was like,
Yeah,
oh,
it was
yeah,
like different.
because you were
I
comfortable.
still sometimes
Yeah,
can't
when
get
you're
back to
comfortable.
that.
Yeah,
phase.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's really hard.
Right.
But like,
Right.
whoa, like I didn't realize like everything people say about like having a kid, like that stuff
Yeah.
is real. Like
Yeah.
even I have friends who had abs,
Yeah.
perfect body, and I look at their body after like
Yeah.
postpartum. I'm like,
Yeah.
girl, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
like,
you look
you
hot.
have
Yeah.
a better body than
Yeah.
people who
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
had kids.
Yeah.
And they're like, and I'm like, you
Yeah.
know what? We all see ourselves differently.
Right.
And I
Right.
just want to say real quick while we just on that, that was a very powerful moment for women,
Yes.
Yeah.
and a very appreciative moment for men.
Yeah.
Come on.
Because like all women need to get to that place and say, look, you know what? We see a lot of stuff on the external of what happening in our relationship with our partner, but some things are internally that we
Yeah.
have to really deal with ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think every woman that deal with that got to get to the place and say, look, believe what he is saying right now.
Yes.
Because my wife had to we still dealing with some things, but to realize that, yo, your smile, your laugh is sexy to me. And so when you get into to other feelings, you take away the smile and the laugh. And then now you're focused on, don't believe what I'm telling you. Like, I want you to laugh. I want you to smile. I want you to do that little look that you do. What look? I don't know. You just did it. You did it. Do it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is, and I know as the men up here, like, seriously, like, that is sexy to us. We're not just looking for, because we was attracted to your bodies before or whatever it was. But then now it's like, it's you.
Yes, it's everything.
I would talk to y'all, but I just need to point. It's you. Come on. You know what I'm saying? It's you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Like, man, it's certain things about our women that are so not physical part of them that, man, drives us crazy when they do that. You know what I'm saying? And women, you guys got to believe what we're saying sometimes to you, because we really mean it from our heart, and we're not just saying it to have sex. You know, we're saying it to, most times we really don't want it. We just really want you to know how we feel.
Come on.
So I really appreciate that vulnerability in that moment, because the truth of the matter is, like, sometimes we get, and even men, we have to believe certain things too and get into our heads and stuff to get out of it. I know I'm speaking to myself on that one too, but I really appreciate that moment.
I want to chime in on what you guys are saying. I commend you guys for being so transparent. I know someone's been receive a breakthrough just by you saying that. And the reality, you just confirmed. I read a book many years ago by Dr. Miles Monroe about women. Been reading up on how to deal with women, and he literally said something very powerful. Women wear your words, and so you got to be careful how you speak to your wife, because you don't have to physically punch a woman to abuse her. You can say things that will just break her mentally, and like I said, the rules don't change, the context does. We're living in a time where men don't need a physical protector. Women need a spiritual and a mental protector. You can tell a woman's not protected when she has to fear every time a man looks at another woman. He's looking at him because he don't like me. So when we talk about protection in this context, I need to be protected to know that you're attracted to me, you love me, I'm sexy to you, and even the other women out there, they got the abs, they don't have
Instagram body.
Yeah, the Instagram body. It don't matter.
It's fake. It's fake.
So-
Until they see it in person. Or Brazilian.
So hint to all the single ladies who are looking, you want a man who makes you feel protected, even about your body and everything. So it's not just physical, because we can strap up, we'd be fine. I hit the gym, but it still can't protect you physically. But the reality, women need mental protection as well. And you can tell women who are, settled in their marriage, they're not jealous. They're not uncomfortable when their man is with another. I mean, that's complex. I'll leave that alone. But the reality is, women need to know that, okay, we love you for who you are. I've been married for 16 years. I mean, we go up and down in weight depending on the business, emotion, and like you said, I think after having childbirth, surgery is a trauma, no matter how you look at it. And my wife had 4 cesarean births, and it altered her body. I mean, forever. And I think she's absolutely the most finest thing on the planet. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And sometimes she don't believe. No, she didn't. No, she knows she fine.
Okay, so oh man, it's so funny. One of the things is it's funny when we go to actually thinking about, because you said something about women wear words, and I think women as a society is very hard on women and what beauty is. So we have grown. We've grown to like tell ourselves what beauty is. So it's very hard, even when, and that's the trick of the enemy. To say, well, no, beauty. No, it said I have to do this. I have to, oh my God, and it's not. And so it's changed, and then I have a blemish now. So now I'm not pretty, and we tell ourselves that. And like you said, you guys are telling us like, no, you guys are beauty. You think we're like the finest thing since sliced bread, and now we need to go to the core of that. Well, why do we feel like that? And this too, again, could be things that we need to get counseling about, and that's okay. And it's everyone has their the confidence of beauty. Like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm sorry, you at 21, you're not gonna be 21 and 51 unless you're just really going hard at that keto stuff and you really in the gym all the time. Because I get really jealous when I see Halle Berry and them and they like 52 and I'm like, that ain't fair. But you know, and it, honestly, it's so funny because I have a reverse action. Like when I had my babies, like I lost so much weight. I was like, I need another baby now so that I can lose this weight, you know. But I'm like, dang, you know. But yes, and it's true now. And now I think for me as a woman going, you know, not old, but getting older and not realize I'm not the youngest person in the room anymore, that started to mess with me mentally. And then I started like, oh my God. I'm serious. Like, it was so funny. Like, we got a new influx. My second job or a career is being a teacher, and we got a new Gen Z crowd. I was like, wait, kinda, because they're like, you know, like in their early 20s, like 22, 23, and I was like, whoa, I'm the other teacher now, like not the old teacher, but not the youngest teacher in the middle, but I'm so cool. The Gen Zs thought I was them. I'm full of the Gen Zs. No, I'm an old millennial, like they say. But this is really true. So, you know, your mental health is really a big thing. And women, we are beautiful. And it does. And again, communicating with them how we're feeling. So, and believing what they say when they tell us. And so trust in that relationship, trust in that spouse. And so those are the things that we have to continue and tell ourselves and go into the world that I was beautifully and wonderfully made and that, you know, I'm his, and just different things to just build yourselves up. So women, all those scars, they think it's sexy because they're the one that did it to us. So all those scars, and it's your fault. So, you know, again, you know, appreciate the skin that you're in, and it's true, it takes time. And so that was, I love that you said that I was able to release and open myself up. But then you still have to tell yourself, even though when you feel like you got over something, every often you have to just remind yourself, no, get back. And that's with everything in life. You just have to like continue. Like, I know I conquered this, but you know, I did the marathon last year, but okay, did I do the same thing that I did to get here this year? So
we were talking about sex being taboo, especially in the church. How did that affect your sex life when you got married, as far as there was no real preparation from the church in regards to sex? Because we can talk about it. I don't know. Right?
Honestly, I do have something I want to say about that. I think because, you know, we was virgins and novice and stuff, we were excited, so we really didn't care. I think, you know, everything. And then you know how and somebody gave us a book, a whole bunch of stuff, and I think what happened is, you know, when you've been in church so long, you almost look for that stuff that you can have like a secret to, like something that you're being naughty at. So in our minds, like, I don't care, they say we can't do this, but woo, you know, something to look excited for, you know, like, ooh, we're gonna try something. So I actually had an adverse. That was me in my head being the bad girl, even though we legal and go. I felt like, yeah, you know what y'all talking about. Y'all don't know what we did. I saw you though, you know. So I mean, that's how I felt about it with church. And honestly, I mean, it's a little different because again, now there is a difference a little bit, I believe, between different cultures and even their growing up thing. And I don't actually have a bad view of my church brought up C with it. I mean, they didn't really talk about it because they were old, but they didn't shun it either. They weren't saying, you know, it's, you know, and you're married. I mean, only probably one time they said all that. I did hear orals were bad one time, but you know, it's like if I kiss you, that's oral. I'm orally using my lip to kiss you on your cheek.
My mother just told me that a couple years ago. You better not be doing it.
Yeah. Until she got Netflix, and then she was like, oh.
Now she watching them Korean shows.
Bridgerton. Oh, that's what it was. Bridgerton. Oh my God.
Very sheltered either, especially not in my household. I grew up in church all my whole life, but my church was very open and honest talking about sex, but mostly from like an abstinence standpoint.
Yeah, of course, yes, that type.
And the fact that sex is good and God wants us to have sex. It wasn't really shunned. I never was told negative things about like oral sex. And like in my household, we would talk about it very openly and freely. So I never had an issue like going into marriage and stuff like that. But I do think for me it was, and this is just recently, it's like opening up my mind to feel like there's no restraint or like I can be as like, sorry guys, nasty, or like open.
He looking at, he's so so excited. He like, yeah, that's my woman.
Like, who
Yeah.
judge me?
Yeah, no one.
Like,
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
not
Exactly.
gonna
I
go
ain't
and
judging.
tell
Yes.
it?
Yeah, yes,
If anything,
yes.
he doesn't want people to
Yes,
know how.
yes,
Because
yes.
then they gonna want it. You know what I mean?
Keep their business to themselves. Y'all hear that, ladies? Real men keep their mouths shut.
So yeah, so I think for me that was like a big part, just
Yeah.
releasing my mind to be like, oh wait, like this is. And it's funny because I had a girlfriend that got married last week, and we went out to brunch. Like, and when it was like my turn to give the speech, I was like, so I've been married 4 years, but I feel like I'm like. Now I understand, like, oh my God, I'm married. Like, I don't know, it didn't, it takes a while.
Started
At
click,
least
yeah.
for me,
No,
like,
no, it
thinking,
does.
I'm like, okay, wait,
Takes a
no,
while.
like, I'm
You're a parent too.
married, like, okay, this
With a
is how
child.
it works. I have to give, I have to bend, I have to do it, whatever.
Yeah.
So I feel like now, like, from a sexual aspect, I'm like, oh no, like, I'm married. Like, I can, like,
Yes,
I
yeah.
can do whatever.
That's
so
true.
I bought, guys, link in bio. I bought this coupon book.
Oh, yes, we had, yes, we had
and,
to
like,
come back.
it's something I would see all the time,
Yeah.
like maybe a gag gift that I
Yeah.
would give to a friend. But I'm like, no,
It's
why
really
don't
nice.
I
Yeah.
use this?
Yes,
Like,
it's
this
very
is, like,
nice.
actually a good gift.
Yes.
So like Jovi did something and like I wrote him a coupon and I gave it to him and he cashed it.
Can it cash in now?
Basically, if I'm a good boy, I get a
Nah,
coupon.
but
You get a treat. You get a treat.
Can you catch it same day? Is it the same day?
He's like, what coupon there?
he's like, oh, so I don't get no.
Like every good student should. Yes. Yeah. Reward system. Yes.
So for me,
I like
that's
that.
what I didn't have like a. In my mind, I wasn't brought up that way, but just actually releasing myself to
Yes,
realize, like, oh
yes.
wait, no, this is my person.
Yes. Yes. I love that.
And on our tip, it was just with me wise. My dad was a pastor. I was I was youth pastor when I met my wife, and so a lot of our interactions was church interactions and stuff like that. And but I always was there like for her, and so when we was transitioning from boyfriend and girlfriend, got engaged, and then she was staying with me, but we was already engaged, and people was like, oh, but you know, I was like, look, I'm finna marry this girl. I don't know what you think I'm finna back out or something like that. Because when I said, will you marry me, I meant I'm marrying you. Like, I wasn't waiting for a wedding day. I see you as my wife, and I'm gonna treat you like my wife. I'm gonna take care of you. You know, so, but the thing was, I was still at the place of wondering, you know what I'm saying, okay, so is this okay? Because I still, you know, I'm pastoring and stuff like that. Like, I don't want her to feel a certain way. And so I was dealing with that thing just to make sure, like, her being comfortable with what was going on in the bedroom and stuff like that. Because I just dealt with certain things where I just always want to make sure that I wasn't overstepping a boundary with somebody. And that's where I go with when you have issues internally that you have to deal with. So she had to learn to more be vocal with, okay, and then so she's good at being vocal.
I was no good. I was like, it's okay.
I was like, okay, but she became vocal, so it let me know, what was okay. Because somebody has to be vocal in a relationship. Somebody has to be, because you don't know what the other person is dealing with. So one person, if you're wondering something, express it. Because that your partner might just be waiting for you to express, what you want and desire, so they can fulfill that need. We can't just expect, well, if she loves me, or if he loves me, then he'll just do this. Yeah. No, communication means you telling someone what you desire, and then them being able to have a choice, the decision to make, will I do it or not?
I think, my experience growing up, my father's a pastor as well. He's pretty eccentric about it, and I say it because I grew up in a very strict church, and the reality is they had quick engagements and stuff like that. And that's not necessarily always a good thing, but the reality is my dad, he was open about telling me, his experiences growing up. I mean, even the type of condoms, to use. So my father was really, my mom, if my shirt came home wrinkled one day from school or work, she's like, why your shirt wrinkled? What you was doing? Yeah, exactly. But my dad was more, kind of cavalier about it. Like, listen, bro, you gotta do it this way. He was really open about it, obviously understanding the principle of it, but he the fact that my father, he kind of exposed me. That's why I was kind of excited to get married, because I'm like, okay, I want to try out some of the stuff my dad been telling me. So I think even despite the church setting, I still had that, like, you know, I got you, don't worry. I got you. I'm gonna let you know what the business is.
And, your house family.
But then obviously somebody can only tell you so much till you do it yourself.
Right.
You can only hear about it, but when you start doing it, it's like, oh. Because not every partner is the same. I mean, and I'm saying that not because I have experience like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't you ready? Don't you ready?
I'm not wearing.
Everybody's different, and this is why I think there has to be a spectrum or a level where you say to yourself, let's have a conversation, because, you know, there's a thing, the G spot, you know, how you got to have that conversation, or someone's going to go unfulfilled in the relationship. And I think it's a very good question to have. Like, okay, what is your exposure to the concept or the act of sex, you know?
I have a question for someone, because this is another thing that's an issue. I know getting married in church is that if you take a person who probably was in the world, who was experienced, and then they got saved, and then they get married to a person who was not experienced, and then when they are in a relationship, that party feels unfulfilled, and they feel like that person is not experienced, and then they have, and I've heard that story a lot. Even in counseling session, vice versa, whether it be the woman or whether it be the man, because, and this is why, and now the children, this is why your parents say don't open the beast before it's time, because his mom loved to say this thing called, you never forget the first touch, okay? So you're gonna be thinking about Peter when you're with John, John did, but no, but that is a very serious thing, and that is something that also I believe that is heavily should be discussed before marriage, because some people, and the thing is, I think this, for example, like if you make the decision, I'm coming to you, I love you, I want to spend a life with you, then I need to. You can teach them. Like, don't do the thing where I'm just gonna put them away, and then, people get divorced for things like that. People they have infidelity for things like that. So I'm just thinking this is where that that come to Jesus moment is that, okay, you might not be experienced, but now we have to do something to teach, because there's some of you honestly who really, as like they say, really really frequently, you might have a problem, like you might been addicted to porn. No, seriously, like they might be addicted to porn, or they, again, molestation, that comes an issue. It might make you a little bit more, and then if you're somebody tell you they wanted something in your booty hole, you're gonna be like, wait a minute, that can bring and that's just just being honest, like these are things that you have to talk about. These are real issues that happen, real people, real scenarios. So again,
I had a friend of mine who asked, like, and she had been married for 3 years, but she was on the verge of divorce. She was like, how do you be freaky? Now, for me, growing up, it was not discussed. It wasn't like, okay, we don't touch that, but they let the 6th grade teacher do that. So I never learned about, you wonder, but it wasn't until college, until, roommate watching the video, and I'm like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Because but that's why it's just so important to not assume, and we can't let the world teach our kids
don't let them
about how how it should be done and the right way it should be done. And you would think, I'm not that, not that I had bad parents, I had the best parents, but you would think that conversation would come up, and the conversation did not come up. It was just kind of like, you learn as you grow, because it was never taught to my mom. She wasn't raised by mom. She was raised by grandma, and that conversation was never had. So sometimes it's not always, it's where you come from. So because it wasn't taught to her, it wasn't taught to me.
I think it's also a generational thing too. I'm gonna be real. Like, I think most of the people in our age group are pretty exposed to sex. Like
everybody, they can click the wrong app on your phone.
Like my generation, like literally, like most of us have seen porn or been exposed to sex, from early teens. You know what I'm saying?
And see, we were taught, porn, all of that is you're going straight to hell.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you're growing up and you don't know how to be freaky, where do you go? You know what I mean? You don't call your neighbor and say, "Hey, can you come over and show me how to be freaky?" Right. So I think that all the outlets that you have, because some people still till this day, they are still afraid of can I do this because I'm a Christian? Is this wrong? Is buying toys wrong? Is, you know what I mean? And like you say, you know, the bedroom is undefiled.
Yeah.
You know, so certain things I feel like are okay, but a lot of things that I did was my first time ever with my husband, you know, and here I am in my 30s feeling like, you know, I should know things, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Just tapping again on that question about when someone is more experienced and then they come in with someone who doesn't have that experience and then it's affecting their marriage. I've dealt that place with counseling with people in that situation where you have to understand, why are you with the person that you're with? Because you wasn't with them because of sex.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
There was something that was strong enough to have you connect to that person.
And want to be the only.
Now develop that.
Yes.
With sex.
Yes.
Not separate it. You're trying to separate
That's right.
it because of what you had before that was separated, and it was fun, it felt good, but you didn't want to be with those people anymore because it was other things that was damaging.
Yes.
That was lifelong hurting you. So you left that to find this.
Yes.
That you love, that you care about. Then like you said, then let's learn together. Let me not be ashamed of where I've been at. And to say, look, maybe let's try this.
Yes.
Right.
You know, but learn how to make love mentally.
That's right.
That breaks off into physically. You know?
And then to also,
just get right to the root.
for people to understand that marriage is not meant to make you happy, it's meant to keep you holy. And then when we learn that God is just making that so that, you know, everything it leads back to God.
It does.
That's right.
Marriage
Always
is for God, is for his purpose. And once I got into, you know, that concept that, okay, you know, even though we can have our outs, okay, God, you have me here to keep me holy, not to keep me happy.
Because happiness is a feeling.
It's a feeling, exactly. That's not joy.
Something is happening.
Happens
Has
to make you.
that. That's why when you talk about joy, God deals with me with acronyms. Not to be preaching to you guys, but joy means Jesus overshadowing yourself. You can have joy no matter what's going on because it's not your feelings or your emotions that's reflecting right now. It's Jesus overshadowing you, and then but that's you making the decision to let Jesus overshadow you in this situation, to be a representation, a reflection of God at that moment, even though you could be a reflection of yourself at that moment. And so in marriage, that we have to understand that this is. I've got on a journey, not momentary happiness. I got on a journey that I'm going to meet happiness. I'm going to meet fear. I'm going to meet shame. I'm going to meet all this stuff here, but I'm going to meet it with this person, and we're going to fight it together. We're going to enjoy it together. We're going to deal with it together. We're going to grow from it together. Everything in that, we're going to do it together. And when you see it in that factor, no matter what you're going to, you remember, at least we're still together. Let's figure out this together, though. Not separate. Let's figure out this together.
Yes.
Powerful.
I've seen people in a relationship and there is no physical spark. You are not married yet. But there is no chemistry. There's no physical anything, which in some church circles, they've been taught that there should not be. We're not even allowed to kiss. We're not allowed to touch or be physical until we get married. Where's the line that we draw? And is that also a red flag? Because, bruh, if we don't have no chemistry, you're not physically attracted to me, is that like a foreshadow of our marriage?
I want to say this. I remember we did have a marriage session, and I looked it up. It's in Genesis. The exact chapter and verse escapes me, but it's in Genesis. I believe it was Isaac and Rebekah, and they went to, I believe it's King of Adonai, and the Bible says that he viewed them out the window. He was watching them, and they saw Isaac acting gingerly with his wife. Now, the Hebrew term there, obviously he's not playing with her, but he viewed them because he claimed that it was his sister or something like that. So when the king saw him playing with his sister, like, that ain't his sister. So even the Bible, I hate to say it, I don't want to get doctrinal or this debate denominations and their theory. The Bible itself encourages romance. I mean, you have the whole entire book dedicated. The Songs of Solomon does not mention God at all, even though it is about God. Right. God's showing you the dimension He deals with. Love, His love spans all types of spectrum. That's why when you read the New Testament, love takes on many meanings. Storge, Philios, it's romantic, it's brotherly, it's unconditional. And marriage is the only relationship that spans all the loves. So you're not only romantic with your wife, you can have brotherly love with your wife, you can be unconditionally in love with your wife. So there's a complexity in marriage where romance has to be that dimension as well. I mean, you don't need it to be married, but why would you be in a marriage and not have that level with you?
Exactly.
Or that attraction you got where it has to be an attraction there somewhere. When you got a man in the Bible willing to work all these years for a wife,
and then take the wrong one,
and then say, look, well, then I work the same amount of years just to get this one.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Not even
that means it was something that was physical that kept him interested in that one.
Absolutely.
You know, because they didn't have a intimate relationship, so he had to be attracted to her as that person that made. Because my wife's character is different than all the women that I know that I've come in contact with. Her drive, all this other kind of thing. It's different. I can literally say there is no other woman in this world like my wife.
Woo, come on now.
You know what I'm saying? And that's because it was what I saw and dissected that said, I'm going to marry this one.
Yes.
Not I'm going to continue to date this one, because we have a different story. Like we dated short period before we got married. You know what I'm saying? I had a longer dating period. I was at a place where I'm like, look, God, I'm not even looking for nobody right now, but I know I'm going to need to be married to be in a ministry like this because it's just too much temptation out here. And I'm doing the best that I can, God. You know it, man. And literally, then my wife comes into the picture. I'm not even trying to think about it. God even blinded me to her beauty until I got to see her in a setting, and she was serving everybody. And then I was like, that's the same girl? I'm like, wow, God. That same day, I asked her, did she want to go out? You know? But because I was saying I really wasn't trying to do nothing before, like, she was just kind of like, I don't know. And her dad was like, no, go with the boy. Just go out.
I was like, nope.
You know? And we just had such a good time. Even from that moment, we have the joke where I thought I saw your grandma. And so just those inside moments and stuff like that. And you need to have that physical attraction to that person because it will come somewhere else. It will come somewhere else. Then it makes you wonder, well, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree, because honestly, to me, like, even when you were asking the question, I was confused because I'm like, well, if there's no physical attraction, why is there why are they even having a conversation? Like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's how important I think physical attraction is, you know? And yeah, there should be some sort of, you know, physical spark, you know, some kind of, you should feel butterflies in your stomach when you see the person. You know, that they should cause certain reactions, you know, especially if you know, it's early in the relationship. If there's the absence of that, then I would say that's a major red flag.
I agree.
You about to get a coupon.
It's waiting in the car.
I remember I was at a Thanksgiving dinner. You know, a lot of talk happened at Thanksgiving dinner, and it was this old head here, and he just wanted to pick on me. He said, man, because he saw my wife, like, yeah, she good looking. I said, yeah, man, but I was saved when I saw her. I love her Christianity. Bro, you was about that booty, man. Like, no, man, she was saved. That's what you ain't say stop the cat. We like, so you was about that booty. And it's true to it. Like, I am physically attracted to my wife. Like I match. Like this is how my wife has safety in me knowing that I'm not going to be a philanderer or or do any form of infidelity. She can walk into the room and pinpoint anybody she deems a potential threat, and all she gotta do is compare them to her. That's the only thing she gotta do, because then I'm physically attracted to her. Like, she became my type, period, like hands down, and she knows me that much. where, okay, I got him on a lock. Like, he's going to put every woman into her shape, which I think is amazing. I think every wife has probably got her husband or should have her husband. The concept, like, you match, like you said, you met your wife. You just said it. You know, there's no one else on the planet like her. Yeah. That's how I feel about my wife. So I'm like, I am not, and that's on the physical spectrum as well. It's not just mental. It spans everything. Like I say, you can talk like that, speak like that, and look like that all the same time. No, ain't nothing else on the planet.
You said something like your wife is your type. I think it's important to marry your type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I married my type.
No, me too.
Okay, so for me, like, I noticed, like, and we're not all like, I think, just be honest, we're not blind to like other people. So like, I might see someone, I'm like, oh, they're attractive. I'm like, that looks just like Jovi.
Yeah.
Like,
and we do that same thing. We're like, and that's where that's a healthy relationship, because let's be honest, you're not gonna sit up and say, I don't think nobody else in the world looks good. And there's that. I'll be like, hey, oh babe, look how she is. I'm pointing him out to the girl. I'm like, dog, she's fine, right? And then he's like, and I'm like, wait a minute, babe, hold on, move. I need to see him. He look good. Okay, and that's okay, but at the end of the day, we like, no, it's it for me, you know. And again, we go through different changes, but at the end of the day, this is here. This is always there, and you do want to be that. You do want to be attracted to the person. That I don't care how saved you are. And I remember my old pastor used to make a joke. He said, "Now y'all men need to stop marrying these women because they can sing." And then you be like, and then when you wake up the next morning, you be like, "Sing, baby, sing."
My dad
Wait a minute, you know. So and that's your church boys. That's you know, they grew up around music, so you know you hear that sister do that, you be like, oh. But yes, no, you do want to be attracted to them in the beginning. And again, like you said, but it has to be more than physical. It's not. It's the character. When he mentioned his wife, he said he didn't notice her physical appearance, and honestly, that was the same thing. I was like, it was his uncle was like, dang, your girl got a big butt or whatever. And I was like, really? And he was like, she does, like, you know. And then it was like, because it was a character. It was whatever he needed, because we know we have that. We know God has called us individually for our own purpose, and that he has something for us to do. But there's also some partner there that's going to do it with us, and that we're doing it together. We have this journey to go together. And so when you start, it's not saying like how the role said that soulmate, but when you find that connection that is on that same path, that same drive, and you're like, wow, there's something so beautiful. Like, his kindness to me is the most sexiest thing about him. Like, I think that makes him a man that, you know, not only can you provide for me, step up, and he is that type of husband or that type of man to be like, you know how, and I don't know, not for everybody, but you know how your mama-in-law, I'd be like, nah, ma, that's my wife, you know, and step up, and not the mama's boy too bad that he can't step up for his wife and be like, oh no, you're not gonna go there, so you're gonna defend me, you're gonna take a bullet for me. Child, he saved my life on the jet ski, you know, before we even got married. I was like, that's him. He will get eaten by a shark for me. Okay, this is it. But you know, but then you find like, okay, that is it. That is what I love about you. Like your character, like the integrity, like not no fake cap, not behind, not that stunted or you gotta feel like you flossing and you're not real, you're plastic. Like just to be authentic, and that is what it is. And so that's gonna take me for every day. Like, ugh. So everybody, like you said, you'll compare like, oh, my husband will do, you know, and stuff like that. And this is what you're attracted to. Yes, physically, because you do want that. And I'm sorry, I don't want no ugly grandchildren and no ugly children. You know, you gotta look at them. You know, bad kids tend to get, you know, ugly kids tend to get beaten a little more. So I'm just playing. But it's that the bigger thing. Again, that was sex. I think we did pretty good on that conversation, right? All right, we did. We told the truth, y'all. We told the truth. Oh my goodness. So make sure with this episode, it is very healthy for our couples. Please like and share. And we'll see you next time at Truth at the Table. Woo!